So I've been trying to make another one of these all April, and hasn't happened is what it hasn't done. It hasn't happened for a variety of reasons. Keep filming stuff and recording and trying to edit it and then not going all the way through and then losing track or moving on to something else. But my attempt now is to make one for all of April. I'm going to do a daily and or weekly vlog, but for encapsulating the entire month of April. And we'll see how well that goes. So what I figured I'd do was combine the calendar I have over here where I write down something interesting from the day and mix that with all of the footage I have on my phone and try to compile something for the month, which is far too complicated, I'm realizing, because of how much stuff happens in 1 month. I thought, not really that much happens. I can't really remember that stuff. Oh yeah, we went to the fucking moon this month. From April 1st to I can't even remember the day they went to the moon. I didn't write that down. I can't remember the day they got back. And it all happened in 1 month. We went to the fucking moon. I say we. I wasn't there. But I like to believe that they went on my behalf because they knew how much I personally enjoyed the moon. We watched the live stream as a household. We sat down in front of our projector and watched the launch with a beautiful YouTube live chat. So you get to see what everyone in the world thinks about it. That was very good. A lot less people believing it was fake than I thought. Oh, wait, now that I say that, there was a bunch of people in the comments saying AI who thought that the whole moon landing, or not the moon landing, but the Artemis 2 mission was all AI. And it's like, fuck, man. This is the world we live in now. It's no longer Stanley Kubrick in a studio faking it. That would be too difficult. Now we just have AI. AI is faking the moon landing. So you just think about that for a hot minute. In stuff that I actually did personally, as opposed to just watching the moon, watching the moon as I do every night. I keep an eye on the moon just to be safe, just to make sure it stays there. We also had Easter this month. Easter this month was great. Stay prayed up. Easter was great. It was I do this thing every Easter, this kind of tradition that I have with my housemates where I tell them I'm going to prepare a big meal for everyone and then hope everyone's there for it. Now, in previous years, I've attempted to do barbecue lamb ribs and a roast beef I did 1 year and a roast chicken. But this year, I thought I'd up my game by doing a chorizo stuffed pork loin with this recipe I found on Good Foods. Good Foods is the home of every recipe I think I've ever found that isn't from my mom or some extended member of my family. Good Foods is a great place. They used to have a magazine that I would collect and tear pages out of. I still have them and I still tear pages out of them every once in a while so that I can just not have to bring the whole magazine with me to fucking Lidl, Now, generally speaking, I'm not great at the whole time management thing. That has been an issue in the past. Last year, as one of my guests kept reminding me, this year, she ordered takeaway before the dinner was ready, because I said it'd be ready by maybe 8 o'clock. I think we were eating at 11 and she hadn't eaten all day. So it's understandable why she got takeaway. But she kept reminding me this year, so I was making a conscious effort not to leave it that late. I got up relatively early. I started prepping relatively early and, I succeeded. I did succeed. And then we watched the movie Rise of the Guardians because technically it's an Easter movie, and then we followed that up with Transformers 1, a movie I still can't decide if I love or hate. It's hard to tell with those Michael Bay Transformers movies. Anyway, we watched those movies and then went to bed, and it was pretty great. And that was the start of April. Jesus, there's so much April to talk about. I've started selling stuff on Vinted. That's a thing I started doing. I started doing it in March, but we're not talking about March. We're talking about April. And I tried to film a little vlog where I did that. I just showed the process of it. But that's not really anything. And there's like a million of those already of like, oh, here's my side hustle. And I don't really think of it as a side hustle. It's more like I have all of this shit that I've bought over the years. And while I could give it all to a charity shop, I could also sell it all for like €3 a piece and, have a little bit of spending money. I attended like a dramatic final goodbye for a couple of people who worked in a restaurant here in Galway that me and my girlfriend both used to work at and actually met at. And I've actually made a lot of really good friends from that and had a lot of beautiful experiences in this building, despite what I think of the overall vibe of the place. That's besides the point. There's no reason to be like a bitter ex and be like, you know what? I actually didn't like this. But the point is the people are what made that. Being on this final night out it was a nice bookend, I suppose, on this whole experience. Even though I haven't worked there in like 2.5 years almost, or a year. It's nearly 2 years. It's nearly 2 years since I worked there. And I'm still going to like, goodbye drinks. Bizarre. But that's how strong the community is. That's how strong this little group of people is, that even that long, even after so many people have left, so many people came back just for these drinks, just to have like this moment together. It was quite lovely, actually. It was quite lovely to have. And I'll cherish it forever. I think it was very funny this like midweek in April, now that I'm looking at it, from like 13 to 19, because I had this goodbye drinks, and then there was a filmmaking meeting in Galway where I got to stand up and talk about this movie I've been editing for like a year. And then after that, I had the trial for the job. Then I got to travel up to Cavan to see my family. And then I got to travel to Meath to see my family. And then I came back to Galway because I had to talk to the unemployment people, and they were like, "Oh, do you have a job?" And I was like, "Well, I have this trial, and I think I'm going to get a job from that. So, what do we do there? Where does this go from?" And they gave me paperwork to fill out, and now I have to hand that off to someone else. And bureaucracy, it never ends. But I shouldn't really complain. The government's paying me. So I guess that means I have no right to complain about them. And then after I got back to Galway, I had to leave Galway again because me and my girlfriend were going to go see Neo and Akon at the Point. An incredible time. Genuinely our Eras tour. But it was Neo and Akon. Insane stuff was happening. Neo had these fucking pole dancers who were coming off poles from the ceiling, from the roof. They were like coming down and they were doing all these tricks and shit. Insane. Akon was in a hamster, not a wheel, but a ball at one point. Not like a hamster-sized one, but like an Akon-sized one. That also, insane stuff. It was a great gig. Had an absolutely incredible time. Beautiful weather as well. Oh my God. What a beautiful experience to have. And then after that, we got to just like spend a day lounging around Dublin, treating Dublin as if it was like a holiday destination. That's how good the weather was. You're like, yeah, let's explore Dublin. Then after Dublin, I had to wait for a bus to get to County Louth. I missed the first one because I was looking at my phone to see if the bus was late, and then the bus just went by anyway. So then I ran to the next stop to see if I could get the bus there. But of course, the bus is quicker than my human legs. So I missed that one. And then I waited for the next one, and that never showed up. And then my sister suggested that I take the train, which was in an hour. And initially I wasn't going to wait around for the train because it was so long, but I'd spend so much time waiting around in Dublin anyways that I took the train to Louth. And then I got to spend a couple of days with my family. It was really nice. My mom was over. My nephews were great. It was actually one of my nephew's birthdays, the following Monday. So I stuck around so I could hang out with him and enjoy that special occasion. And then after that, I had to return back to Galway. It was actually very nice, though, because I needed to get back to Galway and my mom needed to get back to her home in Spain. So we drove up to Dublin Airport together, and we returned the rental car, and then we got to hang out at the airport and just have like time together, which is very rare these days, you know, to have in-person time with my mom. So I really appreciated that. Then I got to be on the bus to Galway, and let me tell you, it's so fucking warm by the time I get to Galway, and I've got all these layers on me. Because, you know, when you travel around Ireland, you don't travel like the weather's going to be nice. You travel like the weather's going to be the worst thing ever. So I'm just covered in all this layers of clothing and all this crap on my back, you know, my possessions. I'm like my little spindle. And I just walking through town trying to get home, and I'm just sweating, and I'm in a terrible mood because now I'm hungry and I'm sweating and I have no patience for anything. And it's like, Jesus, man, get a grip. Do something with this, you know? So then after that, I had my first day at the job because I got the job. I don't know if I mentioned that. And that was really cool. I did that, you know, working in a restaurant again for the first time in a while. Not too bad. If I'm being honest, I think I did a good job. I think they'll have me back again. I think they might even pay me. And then what else? What the fuck else happened? That was the 29th, and then yesterday was the 30th. What did I do yesterday? Oh, I hoovered my room and I reset because it'd been like 2 weeks because of all the traveling. I hadn't got around to doing any of this. And so I did that. I got that done, you know, and that's nice. You know, I've decided when I come back, because I'm traveling again, I'm going off to a country that I can't say because in case my girlfriend's watching this, it's a surprise. We're going away for our anniversary. But when I come back, I'm going to do a massive audit of my room. I'm going to go through all of my possessions and decide what I want to keep with me when we move out of this house and what I need to get rid of before we move out of the house. So again, keep your eyes focused on Vinted.com or Vinted the app, because I'll probably be throwing up all of the shit I don't want there, but like feel bad about just dumping on a charity shop, like an entire collection of DVDs that have all come from a charity shop. I can't bring those anywhere. There's far too many of them. You know, like all the books I have, I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I think I've rambled long enough. This is like 35 minutes. So surely from here, I will be able to cut this down into something interesting to watch. Actually, I have one more thing to kind of loop this all back around.